Happy Monday, everybody. It's Jim, it's Matt, and Matthew. What a wild and woolly weekend we had in college football. It looked like only Ohio State and Miami in that top five were basically able to play up to expectations.
Yeah, no, it was a day full of upsets. One of
Hmm.
which I will take my credit here because it feels like I don't get them right all that often. But Florida did upset Texas, and that was one that I staked a pretty good piece piece on.
No, you actually that was one that you called straight up.
Yeah.
You had no hesitation in making that call,
Hmm.
um, and with good reason. I mean, Texas was shown out to be what they are, and that is a total. Um, I'm trying to be careful using the proper language here, but basically they're posers. They're not a national championship team.
Yeah, no, their offense is stuck in neutral.
Yeah.
And I said that part of the reason that I picked Florida was just because I thought that their defense could stop Arch Manning, and that
Hmm.
they didn't part of it they didn't have to do. Like there were
Hmm.
just some straight up misses by Arch again on Saturday that were I I don't know if uncharacteristic. Like it's odd to see, but at this point he is who he's shown you to be.
Right. You know, we're both fans of golf, right? And you know how you can get it in your head that something's screwing up, right? Screws up your swing, screws up your putting situation. I mean, when you got guys standing there literally 10 yards away and you short arm it, you wonder, is this guy got the yips or what's going on? I mean, Florida put a pass rush on him, but there were a couple, two, three times that he just stood there and literally either overthrew the ball or bounced it to somebody.
Yeah, no, it's and like his deep accuracy was again a problem on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. Like just straight up overthrows.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys like he threw a couple of deep ones late that resulted in picks. So it's just like you look at the overall body of work that Arch has given you
Mm-hmm.
against competent opponents,
Yeah.
and you kind of go, all right, what is there to get excited about? Like
Mm-hmm.
I I I don't see it. He can run well. That's
Well,
the one.
that's not, yeah, that's okay. But if you're not winning, your running doesn't make any difference. Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction here, and it's early in the season. I have a feeling Arch is going to hit the portal, and I think he'll go. He's got to get out of Texas. I mean, that is not going to work. Um, Sarkeesian you could see the frustration on Sarkeesian's face.
Yeah.
He clearly, and he's the offensive guru, right? So he's basically going, what there's going to be a point where if Arch doesn't, play to up to any expectations, and we're already 6 games into the season, or 5 games into the season, um, he's just going to say, screw it, I'm going to go find me a quarterback. It may take him the next year to find him, but I think I think a change of scenery would be good for both of them.
Yeah. No, like I I struggle saying that a change of scenery would be good
Hmm.
just because like he's picked it and they've made a lot of to do about him being at Texas and
Hmm.
being the Texas quarterback. And part of me wonders if just for his name alone, he's going to get a longer leash than probably he should.
He already got a longer leash than he should, in my mind. I mean, he was there last year.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't know the system. I mean, the system didn't change from last year to this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think sometimes, um, I, you look at some of these guys who've gone from one program to the other, and how well Bo Nix is an example of that. I mean, at the time he was there, I mean, in Auburn, you would have thought, hey, cool, there's nothing to worry about here. But it didn't work out for him, and so, but it did work out for him in Oregon.
Hmm.
So that's the reason I'm saying that is history and his different mannerisms of how he likes his quarterbacks to play and how he likes his offense to be run. Right now, that's not being done by Arch. Now, can it happen? Can he finally click into it? Maybe. But, I mean, it's not like he had, it's not like this is the first or second game of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. It like again, you've got signs of more when they can't run the football either.
Right.
Like they weren't having a lot of success on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in their go-to. Like they love to run it wide. And
Mm-hmm.
so, when you've got a struggling young quarterback like that, not having a running game on the road is not going to do yourself any favors.
Right. And
So,
that place was packed on Saturday. I
mhm,
mean, there wasn't any other tickets to be had. StubHub had the cheapest ticket, I think, at $600 or $700.
yeah. And
Uh, Go ahead.
what I will say is I do think there is something to like the starting fast. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
there's also a very different script in that game where if like Texas just hits on that first drive,
Mm-hmm.
like they hit their plays and they were to even if they were to get three,
Mm-hmm.
I think you might have had a different type of game because I think when Arch like doesn't see the first one go in,
Right.
it it just kind of like makes him already feel like he's pushing from behind. And I mean, it turned out to be the case on Saturday.
Yeah. And he struggled. On the opposite side of the ball, DJ Langway looked better.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but better. Um, and Florida has a long way to go, no question about that.
Yeah.
But they looked. That defense is as good as it was before,
Mm-hmm.
and if they can figure out a way to score some points, they'll they may have an opportunity to turn this season around a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but James Franklin and Penn State go out to the Rose Bowl. Now we were kidding about this on Friday. On Friday, talking about this will probably be the biggest crowd that UCLA plays and sees all year, and it was. But I don't think anybody in wearing that blue and old gold jerseys were thinking this was going to happen this way.
Now I I would give James Franklin as long a leash as he had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he deserved a long leash
Mm-hmm.
in losing the
Sure.
games in the fashion that he's lost them. Like big games, losing them close,
Right.
you get it. Eventually, you feel like you're going to get over the hump. Losing a game like that though is unacceptable, and I would
Mm-hmm.
say a sign of things that are worse off than maybe meets the surface level
Right.
when you lose a two overtime game to Oregon. And listen, I'm not sitting here calling for his job today by any
Right.
means,
Mm-hmm.
but if he doesn't beat both of Ohio State and Indiana, which I feel like is now the requirement, and
Mm-hmm.
God forbid he lose both of them,
Mm-hmm.
it, his job is very much in danger, I think,
Yeah.
because it's okay to lose big games to really
Mm-hmm.
good teams in some maybe poor situations. That's a team that you're better than any day of the week, that you probably beat 95 out of 100, probably 98 out of 100. If you played them
Mm-hmm.
100 times, you should beat them 98 times. Like
Mm-hmm.
that should be like a 1% result right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really a result of his inability to get a team focused. Like you can get up there, and he gave the excuses, and they're excuses that you give in like legitimate spots. It
Mm-hmm.
Those excuses don't matter when you're that much better than a football team, the way Penn State is better than UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't care that offensive staff, the offensive coordinator had 2 days of practice and install like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you got outclassed. A defensive coordinator you're paying like I think it's $2 or $3 million for
Right.
this year. Like in Jim Knowles just gets he lets that happen. Like that happened on the back of a quarterback that hadn't shown a pulse from back in his time at
Right.
Ohio State. One that he beat up on at Ohio State, mind you,
Right.
and Nico Iamaleava with worse talent around him. What changed from that night in the horseshoe last season in
Right.
December against Tennessee to going out to Pasadena, California and playing UCLA for Jim
Mm-hmm.
Knowles? I don't know. It's as mind-boggling a result as you can have in college football.
I which it reminds me of the situation where okay they lost to demoralize. They're like okay, we played our hearts out. We didn't win. We should have won that game against Oregon. We didn't do it. They have a whatever kind of practice they have. They get on a plane. They fly 6 hours out to Los Angeles. They go to the Rose Bowl and they literally don't show up. I mean that to me, yes, it's on the players because the players are on the field, no question about it. But also it's up to the coaches
Mhm.
because they're saying, they might even at halftime had an opportunity to say, "Look, what the hell is going on here?" Okay, we can stop these guys right now and still get out of here with a win. But it was a bad result all the way around. I mean, it just was crazy. Um, anyway,
And
go ahead.
one other little touch because I saw it and I knew I wanted to use it earlier. So a guy by the name of Parker Fleming, Stats of War on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
puts out a graph every week called "Did we really get beat that bad?"
Mm-hmm.
Which takes out the explosives, like
Sure. The chunk plays, yeah.
the things that aren't turnovers, chunk plays, stuff like
Right.
that. Things that you can't calculate into a formula of success. Like
Right.
they're not
Sure.
guaranteed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So on a play-by-play basis,
Mm-hmm.
you would figure that the better team, like significantly better football team in Penn State, well, you'd figure like they lost the explosives and they lost the turnovers.
Sure.
That's no, UCLA was beating them on a play-in and play-out basis.
Right.
They performed better in them in the did we really get beat that bad? So yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
got beat. Like it wasn't some fluke thing. They got
Mm-hmm.
beat by UCLA
Right.
in unacceptable manner.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Not a question about it. Miami for 3 quarters, played one heck of a football game. The fourth quarter got ragged and got. It's the one thing about Mario Cristobal that concerns me about moving into that quote unquote next level, right? It's you got to play 4 quarters of football, and they didn't. That last quarter was raggedy. There's no way
Mhm.
Florida State should have scored that many points on them. But they end up moving up to the number 2 spot behind Ohio State. But that wasn't a good football game either.
No, what I told my buddy because I was sitting there
Mm-hmm.
watching it with him Saturday night. I said I like Miami is just that much better than everyone
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to play on the
Mm-hmm.
schedule, and
Right.
yet I still think they're going to lose a game. Like
Mm-hmm. They
there's
always do.
yeah they're probably double digit favorites for close to the rest of the way throughout
Mm-hmm.
their schedule, and yet it still feels like they are going to lose a game that they shouldn't, and like it's from the like little slip ups that you get from Mario Cristobal and the way that he
Mm-hmm.
coaches. It's like I they panned to him on the sidelines a couple times after they got
Mm-hmm.
out the way they did. They're like look at the intensity. Like look at he's still coaching them hard. He understands this rivalry and that they're never out. Obviously he didn't because like they just started taking plays off. Like on defense, they were very much in a protect, prevent, which
Mm-hmm.
was fine. But you start giving it up in a way that you hadn't really given it up. And now, granted, the game plan was literally Thomas Castellanos drop back and eventually
Right.
scramble. So it's a little tougher once your defense gets tired, and I get that. But the intensity that he was carrying on the sidelines didn't feel like it carried over throughout his team in that fourth quarter.
Let me ask you a question about. I'm looking at the top 25. How come Georgia Tech's not ranked higher than 13th? Is it?
I I think part of it maybe, and I mean this is the AP poll, so there's
Right.
only so much, but like they were in a really like that was a dogfight with Clemson and a team
Mm-hmm.
that people don't really think of very highly right now. Um, and then you look back to that Wake Forest game and you say like they lost that football game. Like
Mm-hmm.
if the referees throw the a very obvious offsides flag on them, they lose that football game. Now the flag didn't get thrown. They went back and they won the game. They're undefeated. But I think they have reasonable question marks about Georgia Tech.
Okay. How is Florida State still in the top 25? That I don't understand. I mean, They have um, not played solid football all season long. I wish nothing ill to to Coach Norville, but
Mhm.
again, you talked about um, Penn State going in, and you've got more talent.
Mhm.
You could argue that Florida State has got equal to, anyway, not necessarily all um, talent is equal to Miami. They certainly shouldn't, play or have been playing the way they've have. They played their sisters of the poor. What three? They opened up, had the win over Alabama, and then they haven't played anybody until
Yeah.
the Miami game.
Yeah. Yeah. And they, losing back to back weeks. I think
Hmm.
that the reason they've stuck around is they're just giving credit for that week one win against Alabama because it is a really good win. Like
No, I'm not arguing about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the way Alabama's played, it's a really good win. And I
Hmm.
guess when you do that and the way they lost to Virginia and the window dressing on the backside
Hmm.
of that Miami game, then when you look at the overall body of work, you go, all right, like they lost on a Friday night away late. It is what it is, like the
Hmm.
trap spot. And then, they lose a one score football game to Miami. So it's two results that I guess you can wrap your head around. And now I think in pure merit based, there's definitely some teams behind them that probably deserve to be ranked a little more
Hmm.
than Florida State does right now. I think they will come back and probably end up pretty in the
Yeah,
rankings.
there's always a
I'm not
course
sure if they'll.
correct. Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's always a course correct later in the season. I mean, there's still half a season to go, and we'll see. I mean, it's been
Mhm.
a bizarre situation. Anybody in that top 25 that you don't think should be there?
I will say what I was shocked with
Hmm.
was they've moved Penn State and Texas completely out,
Right.
which really surprises me. Nick, I agree with it. Like
Hmm.
that's not where I'm going here. I'm surprised that they were that willing to part with their predetermined biases that they had
Hmm.
preseason because they generally aren't very willing to do that. Like
Right. They would have stuck them in there somewhere.
you saw that with Notre Dame early in the
Hmm.
season when they were 0-2. It's like, well, like the way they lost, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I like off the top of my head, there's not teams. I guarantee you that like I can sit down and look at it and find problems with it.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I for as much ranting and raving as we do about it, and I think it is partially bad because it can like I think the committee going to relying a little more on the numbers and like strength of
Right.
schedules like that is going to be good because I think there is a bit of that predetermined like the
Hmm.
predetermined bias for teams based on where they
Sure.
were ranked in the preseason and what you believed about them.
And to put a pin on what you talked about, the the polls are up until about the last 4 or 5 games of the season. The polls are really meaningless. I mean, you could take these guys up and shake them up and throw them in a, there's no
Mhm.
dominant team at this point in
Mhm.
college football, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But these results, and going back just a little bit more, these results are more for television than they are for anything else because you can say, okay, we've got two ranked teams playing each other, as opposed to saying,
Mhm.
well, Indiana's going to play Illinois or whatever. So it gives them some abilities to market a game,
Yeah.
and so that's one of the reasons the ratings are there. I'm sorry, the
Mhm.
rankings are there. It's to help boost the ratings you know in the games that are coming up.
I'll give you an example that I'm kind of curious to see.
Hmm.
Well, never mind.
You
I've been
found it, huh? Okay.
I've been corrected on it already. That's on me.
Okay.
I was gonna say I would because Georgia was sitting at 12 last week, and
Hmm.
I had figured that they didn't really move all that much after that win against Kentucky. They did. They moved them to 10. I was going to say I'm
Hmm.
curious to see if Georgia beat Auburn this week, if they would find their way into the top 10 to make that Ole Miss game a top 10 matchup.
Um. Yeah. They found a way number first, and then there's no reason. I mean that can be interesting. I mean I know that we ragged on the Vanderbilt game, and there's every reason to. But Vanderbilt played representative game against Alabama. They didn't back down. They played hard,
Yeah,
and all credit to them.
yeah. And but I will say, I think for Diego Pavia, the way that he talked
Hmm.
all off season, and partially in specific about Bama,
Hmm.
um, you can't be taking the knees pregame and stuff like that and not
Hmm.
expect to get some of it back. And
Right.
you got to be better about taking it. Like if you're going to give it out like that, you've
Right.
got to be a little more willing and better in accepting the criticism or the feedback that you're going to get when you
Right.
lose those games.
Right. Okay. Let's go from the college ranks over to the NFL. And uh, I got to say, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm a little concerned here. They got beat by Houston. That's not getting beat by Houston is not an embarrassment. Okay, Houston's got a very talented football team. Getting beat as badly as they did, not being able to find any offense. Um, you'd mentioned post game uh, remarks from one of the college coaches. Uh, I listened to Harbaugh's post game yesterday. He came in. He said we didn't play. We practiced all week, looked good in practice, didn't play. Everybody's accountable. And so when one of the reporters asked him, "Well, are you talking about all the coaches are responsible?" He says, "Well, we we coached them up as best we could, and the result was a result." And he almost started to the point where to that, well, we've got 6 or 7 guys out, but when you look at the other teams that have 6 and 7 players out, and you see that they continue to win or at least make it competitive, I don't want to hear that we got players out. Everybody's got players out. The team you played had players out, and you got beat, and you got beat by a team that had never beaten you on your home turf. So I'm not saying, or I'm not asking for the head of John Harbaugh, as you were not asking for the head over there. It's just that there's a point. I think the shelf life of this Baltimore Ravens team and Harbaugh could be this could be the tipping point this year if they don't get it back together.
Yeah, I it feels like they gave up without Lamar Jackson.
Hmm.
That seems to be the general sense, and
Hmm.
I think a team giving up 100% falls on the coaches.
Hmm.
Like if you get the sense of a team has given up, then that falls solely on the coaches. Now, I will say that they talent wise, they don't have the talent to compete. Like
No.
you lose the guys, their defense was bad enough. You lose a couple more guys on defense. All right, fine. Your offense has been carrying you. You lose Lamar Jackson. That's probably not going to pan out. Like you don't expect. I don't think you'd be remiss to expect to win this game as a Ravens fan,
Hmm.
but to get blown out by 34 points is a bit much, especially for a team that has been able to score all season and Houston Texans.
I want to also clarify something that I just said. If indeed there's a parting of the ways, um, and I have no inside information to say that there will be that situation, but if there is a parting of the ways, I mean, John Harbaugh will be out of a job for about 20 minutes. I mean, there'll be people
Mhm.
calling him. So it's not that John Harbaugh is not coaching well. There are times when the players just don't listen anymore. And I don't know that that is the case, but I know if they lose another couple of games, if they don't get at least one win or two out of the next couple of games they got a bye week coming up, which is the perfect time for them. They desperately need it. They'll start getting some of these guys back. I Harper no expectation that they're a lock to get into the playoffs. Cleveland played the other day very well. in that game against Minnesota in London with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. So he looked good, better than I think a lot of people expected, and played well, played representative. Given that that was the first start he's had as a pro quarterback, I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely dealt like a bad hand
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the week that they had, and when like you talk about a time where it's not ideal to be plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of did his job, but man, there were a lot of throws where it just felt like whoa, what are we doing? I think it's
Hey.
more specifically on the goal line
Mm-hmm.
in those situations where he airmailed a guy, and you
Yeah.
wonder if that isn't some concern about the height and the arm strength of
Well, I
Dylan
think yeah.
because
She,
he
go ahead. I'm sorry.
like he those are the question marks about him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's not very tall, and his arm's not very
Mm-hmm.
like he's not got the biggest arm in the world. Now
Well,
I think
yeah.
he's always going to be a good decision maker though.
He's a Drew Brees kind of guy.
Hmm.
He's better rolling out. He's better. He can throw in the pocket, but you got to know where he's going with it. But I
Hmm.
think that what I was impressed with, given the fact that they had they had 2 days of practice, that was it.
Yeah.
Um, and then they hit. When you go to London, you really don't practice. I mean, you really just go over there. Maybe you go through a couple of walkthrough drills, and that's it. So giving him the start on a week when he only had the offense, two 2 days.
Mhm.
Not that he's not sitting there watching Flacco and knowing what it is, but it's a whole different thing
Yeah.
when you start talking to people and tell them, look, you can stand on the sidelines and watch every play, and that's great. But
Mhm.
when you get on the field, life changes drastically.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious as to um, what is next with him. Um, I guess my bottom line is I saw enough to make me interested in seeing if he can be the guy.
Yeah. And I will say, if they're like all the circumstances that were stacked against him,
Hmm.
if you want to make your young quarterback who should be uncomfortable a little
Hmm.
more comfortable, run for 110 yards, which is what they
That would
did.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins had 110 on the ground on
Hmm.
23 carries. So getting a solid, consistent running
Hmm.
game to go along with helps significantly.
Well, I'll tell you two quarterbacks that had a fun day yesterday. Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels.
Mhm.
They went west and took care of business, and it was, I watched. Jaden was playing. I mean, he was. They made him wear a brace.
Mhm.
He wasn't crazy about it, but I'm quite certain after how he performed the other day, he will not have any problem at all keeping the brace on. They they don't want him to get hurt, and but he played a good game, and Baker um, did what Baker has done in the 4 wins they've had so far.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference between these performances, just
Hmm.
scrolling back and forth, Baker didn't have a running game. Rashad
No.
White was their number one back because Bucky
Hmm.
Irving was out, and Rashad White had 41 yards on 14 carries. He was
Hmm.
averaging less than 3 yards a carry. Now he punched
Right.
in a couple times, which is
Hmm.
good. But Baker was 29 of 33, 379, 2 touchdowns. Like
Hmm.
that's Seattle had like the third best passing defense coming into the day.
Hmm.
That's ridiculous. When you do that without Mike Evans
Right.
specifically, I like that. That just it makes you feel good as a Buccaneers fan, given the
Hmm.
injuries and the way things have gone, to go up
Hmm.
there against that pass defense and find a way to win that football game the way that they did. That gives you a lot of hope.
He only had five incompletions in that game.
Yeah, it was. I think it was four. It was 29 to 33. It said.
Okay, but I mean,
Ridiculous.
it was an entertaining game, and Seattle went toe to toe. They both played hard. It was good to see. I mean, those were the two teams that came into the league at the same time,
Mhm.
and uh, I do recall that there was a coin flip as to who had the option to decide whether or not they wanted to take a player, you know, the, out of the pool or
Hmm.
if they wanted to go to the draft. And the Buccaneers won the toss. I'm sorry, Seattle won the toss. They went to Dallas and got Jim Zorn, who was backup quarterback there. John McKay went to the draft and picked Leroy Selman,
Hmm.
who went on to become an All-Pro and a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Um, so that was kind of fun to see those two teams play each other because it's been so they've been so linked because
Hmm.
they came into the league at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was entertaining from that standpoint. What I got out of you talking about the running game. I think one of the things that we saw yesterday in that Commanders game was the breaking out of a couple of guys who can run,
Hmm.
guys that they didn't expect to. Um, you know, real straight up rookies who came through for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt was like everybody kind of started getting enamored by him,
Hmm.
specifically like fantasy drafts and stuff like
Hmm.
that after that preseason game where he like set the world on fire. And like you come out and you're listed third on the depth chart. You're like, well,
Hmm.
maybe temper expectations. No, he did. The expectations were as they should have been. Like he's lived up to them as well, and he's getting better by the week too, which I think is
Hmm.
really good because like they weren't able to protect Robert Griffin when he had those injury problems.
Right.
Like, that wasn't something that they had the luxury of doing. If they can run the football like this every week,
Hmm.
then yeah, you're fine letting Jaden Daniels take a little bit of a load off in terms of like his workload and what he really has to do
Hmm.
carrying that offense.
Yeah. You don't have to hope that he gains 60 or 70 yards on the ground. You want him not to be on the ground if as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: he has learned to slide better. So if nothing else, that came in handy.
Well,
Um,
he was
Go ahead.
starting ground floor in college. Like
Hmm.
I think back to that opening game against Florida State in Orlando.
Hmm.
Man, he was getting hit like they almost looked like Looney Tunes hits
Hmm.
sometimes. The hits that he was taking.
Right. And now, good news for him, he's not taking them, which is helpful. Any surprises over the weekend from the NFL for you?
The Titans won. Like I feel like at least made a lot of talk about how the Cardinals could start fast with that schedule and
Hmm.
how bad like how really easy that front end of the schedule was. They were facing the
Hmm.
49ers with a backup.
Right.
Got the Titans, like the Seahawks are a winnable football game. Well, they
Hmm.
lost all of them. Like they
Right.
went from having the road to like, hey, we can see the trajectory for this Cardinals team. And
Hmm.
boom, right into the dirt.
Right.
After Cam Ward said that his team was terrible like a week ago.
Hmm. Well, Cam Ward made some amazing throws yesterday. He did that Mahomes sidearm pass. He's got that down. That was, of course, the game where they had the wacky touchdown,
Hmm.
where they fumbled the ball, then the defense fumbled the ball, then they kicked the ball, and it lands right into the end zone. And oh, by the way, there just happens to be a Tennessee Titan player. Um, so yeah, that was off the wall to say the least. But yeah, I think for me, the surprise yesterday, more than anything, um, and I shouldn't have been surprised. I think you actually mentioned it about the Sunday night game. I was surprised that the Patriots, played as well as they did.
Yeah, like you would expect that's a game that the Buffalo Bills should win,
Hmm.
right? Like I don't think that's any, but the same problems that's plagued Buffalo thus far this season is their
Hmm.
defense. Like their defense has kind of been up and down.
Hmm.
You think back to that Thursday night football game against Miami when Miami was like down and out, like
Hmm.
nobody thought Miami had a chance. And it
Hmm.
was a one-score football game late. Like Miami did have a very good shot to win that game. So they've kind of struggled in beating the teams that they should beat. And this one got them.
I'm sorry, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I when I didn't know whether you stopped talking or I because I had hit a button here. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't hear Matt.
No,
Okay. Um, let's downshift now into baseball. And as a Red Sox fan, um, 23 runs in 2 games? Really? That's your pitching?
yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, if this was what was coming down the tracks for the Red Sox, I'd almost rather lose in the wild card series.
Right.
But I mean, the Yankees' inability to hit against Trey Savage
Mhm.
yesterday was ridiculous. Like 5 1/3 hitless innings for a guy that I believe this was his first career postseason start.
It
Like
was, yeah.
splitter was disgusting. And
Mhm.
I will say I did find it. I think one of my favorite things to come out of yesterday
Mhm.
was on the Fox post game stuff
Okay.
when A Rod and Jeter were like trying to be like, this is like the way, like, look, those hitters are feeling something. They scored 7 runs. They got to be feeling it. Like, or A Rod said, like, if Max Fried just pitched a decent game, then hey, maybe we win this one, guys. Like, these are like internal thoughts that they're having. Dave
I,
Ortiz said Jesus needed to come back in order for the
I,
Yankees to be able to win.
that's
Well,
the. I gotta say that I think Big Poppy's one of my favorites when it comes to analysis because he and Pedro Martinez, they just say it. I mean, they Charles Barkley up straight up and down, man.
mhm,
Don't ask him a question if you don't want an answer, because they'll give you one, and it may not be politically correct, or it may not be one that that the Yankees, former Yankees, want to hear. But um, no, those were two beatdowns, and they're going to have to sweep um, Toronto in New York, which is possible, but I doubt it's going to happen.
sweep Toronto in New York and then go back to Toronto and win another one
Yeah.
too. Like it's really hard to do. Especially they have Toronto has Shane Bieber going on
Hmm.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
and the Yankees have Carlos Rodon. Like
Right.
this lineup, because it felt like the Red Sox kind of started to like
Hmm.
you could see some stuff, the cracks start to show on Rodon.
Hmm.
This Blue Jays lineup is significantly better than the Red Sox lineup. Like it, Red Sox lineup had a lot of problems that this Blue Jays lineup can boast that they just couldn't. And Shane Bieber's really good too. Like since he's came back from his injury in the second half of this year, he's pitched really well. Like
Hmm.
the kind of guy that the Blue Jays were hoping to get when they acquired a guy that hadn't pitched all season at the
Right.
deadline. He was
Yeah,
their hit.
he was their guy. I think the other thing too is all this time everybody's talked about the power that in that lineup of the Blue Jays,
Mm-hmm.
and this time around they didn't show it last time, but this time around they're showing it, and these guys are just breaking. They're hitting everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be concerned if I were a Yankee fan, that the season will be ending. Maybe not this, maybe not tomorrow, but certainly there is a possibility it could be ending not too distant future.
Yeah, well, what I will say in terms of that, like if you're the Blue Jays, you don't give the Yankees life. Like
Mm-mm.
the Red Sox went all in on game two, gave them
Hey.
life. Like after that, it felt like very much the Red Sox backs were against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I still have questions about the depth in the Blue Jays pitching.
Mm-hmm.
So very much like go close them out because if Cam Schlittler plays like he did
Mm-hmm.
in game three in game five, then you very much are looking at a Bronx sweep and them
Mm-hmm.
heading back to Toronto to play game five. Like,
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to me about the playoffs so far has been the game that nobody watches, and that's the Mariners and the Tigers. They
mhm,
have played two incredibly entertaining, uh, drama-packed playoff games. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, they had the game that would go to extra innings. They had the game yesterday that was amazing. Randy Rosarena, some of these guys. I mean, they just it was fun to watch. And here you are, so watching, going, it's Detroit
Mhm.
and Mariners. I hasten to say, if you're not a baseball fan and you're just a casual fan, you probably could name more than two or three players that on both teams. If you just said, just give me two names off of both teams, and they probably couldn't do it. But
Mhm.
the entertainment factor is there. I mean,
Yeah,
the drama, all that stuff you want in postseason baseball, it's in the Mariners and Tigers.
yeah. I mean, the Tigers boast like I feel like at least when you talk to more casual people, like
Hmm.
when you talk to them about the Mariners, they'll be able to name you like
Hmm.
Julio Rodriguez,
Sure.
maybe how much they follow it. They'll name a Rosarena or Eugenio Suarez, like those guys. That Tigers lineup
Forgot the
has no
catcher.
one, huh?
You forgot the catcher.
Oh, Cal Raleigh, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably be able to name those guys.
Right.
The weirdest thing is about the Tigers lineup is like if you ask the majority of people, they'll be like, I think I heard Javi Baez plays here now. Like that's probably where you're starting there.
I
When
got go ahead.
I was about to say up and down their lineup though, it's just like it's more that nameless, faceless. Like they're going to grind out at bats and they'll
Hmm.
put up runs when they have to.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who is a baseball fan, but you know, not totally deep into it.
Mm.
And they said, "Doesn't Detroit have a guy by the name of Torkelson or something like that?" I said, "Yeah, they do. They definitely have a kid, by the name of Torkelson there." Um, so even the Tigers fans, the non-Tigers fans,
Yeah.
um, don't know a lot about it. And it's going to be interesting. Saw Dave Roberts yesterday over watching the football game on the sidelines with the Eagles.
Mhm.
Dodgers and Phillies tonight, followed by the Cubbies and Milwaukee Brewers. So a good day for baseball.
Yeah. Like the Dodgers and Phillies is this. I I'm honestly kind of surprised that the Dodgers and the Phillies got the early window, especially with LA being a West Coast. Like I know that they're
Yeah,
technically an hour back in the Midwest, so like it's more of an 8 o'clock game for them. But putting this one in the early window feels like a bit of a disservice.
I I kind from a television programming standpoint, um, it's like, do I want to go up against Monday Night Football or do I want to lead into Monday Night Football?
Yeah,
I would have, with the Dodgers and the Phillies, I would have said, let's go. Let's go 9 o'clock. Let's just rock. You
yeah.
know, I I think those are brands that people want to see.
That's what
So
like
go ahead.
like they can survive the going up against
Right.
Monday Night Football. I'm not
Hmm.
sure that the Cubs and the Brewers game
No, it's
viewership
not.
wise will be able
No,
to survive as well.
it's they might as well put it on FS1,
Yeah.
and play the regular programming, because it's not gonna move the needle. And we both know that those are two good baseball teams. But
Mhm.
you know, the the drama that the Phillies and the Dodgers can bring you is, on a level much higher than what the Cubs and the Brewers can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like it's not like they've got some heavyweight fight on Monday Night Football either.
No,
It's the Chiefs and the Jaguars. A
right?
solid game, like
Sure.
not. But in terms of what the Chiefs have been and what the Jaguars are,
Hmm.
hey, you can easily pull numbers off
Right.
of that game. I think that would have been no issue.
You're not going to beat them, but you could certainly put up a number that would be respectable.
Yeah, and just in terms of the game itself, Blake Snell's going for
Hmm.
the Dodgers. Jesus Luzardo is going for the Phillies.
Hmm.
What version of Jesus Luzardo do you get?
I don't
Is
know.
the question, because there's versions of Jesus Luzardo that give you 6 2/3 and 10 strikeouts,
Hmm.
a couple hits, maybe give up a run, and then there's also versions of Jesus Luzardo that gives you 2 2/3,
Hmm.
6 earned. Like obviously, I think I don't know if any Phillies pitcher has a short leash in the postseason the way their bullpen is pitched.
Hmm.
Like that, and if you don't have a short leash, and Luzardo can't go, and Blake Snell does what you kind of expect Blake Snell to do,
Hmm.
and it's a problem for Philly.
Yeah, I mean, Snell's going to be a guy who's going to give you 5 or 6 innings.
Hmm.
You're not going to see a complete game out of Blake Snell.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's thrown a complete inning. I'm sorry, a complete game since college. It's been a long time for Blake Snell. That being said, he definitely has made a living and a good one out of being a strong 4 to 5 inning pitcher. Um, so we'll see. But it's funny. My brother spoke to me the other day and said he was going to go down to see the game that Otani pitched against the Phillies.
Hmm.
But then he decided that nobody wanted to go with him, so he didn't go. Uh, but sitting at home and watching the game, I'm sure he was very entertained. This Dodger Philly thing is definitely a really fun matchup. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the Red Sox and the Yankees from the standpoint of just entertainment factor. It's there.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Like there, I will say, like it doesn't have like the rivalry aspect of
no,
it,
mhm,
but it doesn't need it. Like that's the level of talent that both of these teams have.
yeah, you've
But
got stars on both sides.
and I will say, you're talking about Blake Snell being a good like 4 or 5 inning guy.
Hmm.
Blake Snell gives you 5 innings of scoreless baseball,
Hmm.
then the Dodgers are probably winning this baseball game.
Right.
Like they have a significant bullpen advantage. Unless Jesus Zardo just comes out and gives an otherworldly performance, if Blake Snell goes and gives you what you expect him to,
Hmm.
then the Dodgers are winning this baseball game.
One of the guys who I lean on to find out stuff about, I don't know Blake Snell. Okay,
Mhm.
don't have no. I mean, obviously I know him as a pitcher. I just don't know him. Joe Madden, who was his manager in Tampa, and went on to, you know, guide the Cubs to a World Series, and then went off to the Angels out in Anaheim.
Mhm.
Joe was telling me that when he was with the Rays, and we're talking now about a young Blake Snell, that it was he started to get wobbly in uh, on the third round rotation of the batting order.
Mhm.
The first 2 times through, he was okay. Third time, it just wasn't as good. But you're absolutely right. Blake Snell, if he gives them 5 or 6 solid innings, that's all you can ask.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm assuming that third time through the order stuff has a lot to do with his pitch mix. Like
Yeah,
if you're more of a two pitch guy, then it's going to be much more difficult to get guys out third time through.
right. But when he went out to San Diego, things were clicking for him, and he
Hmm.
had some 7 inning games out
Hmm.
there. Up in San Francisco, things were working better for him.
You
So
mentioned his complete game. I think that he threw a complete game shutout in San Francisco.
maybe, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I'll look it up and see as we speak. It's There was a funny story that was Charlie Sheen's out hawking a book,
Hmm.
and in the book he said that he was a Cincinnati Reds fan,
Hmm.
and but Cecil Fielder was coming to Anaheim, and there was supposed to be, I forget what it was, maybe it was his 200th home run or whatever. He was on track to perhaps get it
Hmm.
in Anaheim. So he's a huge baseball fan. So he calls up the Angels and says, "Hey, look, um, I would like to get a couple seats in the bleachers on the left, basically the left side of it." And they said, "I'm sorry, we don't sell those seats. We keep those seats, to cut the." That was back when they were retrofitting the ballpark back to a baseball stadium from a football stadium.
Hmm.
So I said that the, we don't sell those seats because the line of sight's not that good. Even though, yeah, I get the fact that if there were to be a home run, it would likely go there. So
Hmm.
Charlie goes, "How much does it cost if I bought every ticket in that seat area, even though you know you don't sell them?"
Hmm.
And he said the ticket agent put him on hold, came back and said, "I don't know. I think we could sell the whole pack to you for $7,000." So Sheen puts up the $7,000. There's not one home run hit in that area, and we're talking now, maybe what 100 seats or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't get any of it. And the next night, um, they had 3 home runs in that same area. None of them were Cecil Fielders. Cecil didn't hit a home run in Anaheim, but
Mm-hmm.
that just goes to show you what a true baseball fan Charlie Sheen is. He probably bet more on baseball than any other sport that he did.
Yeah. That,
He was quite the character. Um, Also, he said uh, that when he was on what was it on Two and a Half Men, he would try to work his schedule around so didn't miss any Dodger games. So he definitely wanted to see his baseball.
yeah. No,
So
it's shelling out 7 grand just to hope you hit a home run is just to hope that a home run gets hit to a certain square of the ball
right,
is definitely an interesting tactic. You'd
it's
think it'd be effective.
yeah. Um, he probably couldn't get those seats for $7,000 anymore.
No.
Um, all right, here's from baseball stats. Blake Snell has pitched deep into games, but he's never thrown a traditional 9 out incomplete game
Mm,
in the regular season. However, he did pitch a no hitter on August 2nd of 2024 while playing for the Giants against Cincinnati. That game was rain shortened. So while it's officially recorded as a no hitter, it wasn't a 9 inning complete game.
wow.
So there's that. And there's something else about him with the Dodgers in 2025, um, which is this year, obviously. Snell has, in the wild card series, he went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs and 4 hits, and struck out 9, recorded 21 outs on only 91 pitches. So that's what you call efficiency, folks, right there. So there you go. That's you were right that he got the complete game in San Francisco, um, but just that he didn't go 9 innings to get it.
The innings limit, yeah. Or
So
not limit, but delay.
yeah, that's fun facts, folks. All right, my
Mhm.
friend. Today, you gonna watch football or baseball or both?
Probably a combination of the two.
Combination of the two. Okay, fair
Hmm.
enough. Any thoughts on any one of those three things? The football game tonight, and the two baseball games we just talked about.
I'm very interested to see if the Cubs can kind
Bounce
of
back.
put themselves back into this thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have Shodi Imanaga's going. He's pitched
Mm-hmm.
in the postseason before. He's obviously pitched this postseason already
Mm-hmm.
against Aaron Ashby. And like the Brewers felt like a team that really had the Cubs number
Mm-hmm.
in the regular season, especially after they got hot. So the Cubs kind of need something to go their way. Like they need to be able to win this series in Wrigley. They can't afford to come back if they're going to win this series. So it feels like an imperative game for them to get after Matthew Boyd did not give them what they had hoped for.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's of interest, or should be, is that they're just not hitting,
No,
and that's surprising to me because basically that was the way they won games in the during the regular season.
yeah,
Um, so we'll see. By the way, just got this game across. If you're a Big Ten fan, your game this week is on CBS. It's a 3:30 game in that window, and it's Ohio State and Wisconsin. So there
is
you go.
that for next week?
Hang on.
Because I this week Ohio State's playing Illinois.
Let's see what it
Right there.
says. Oh, wait a minute. It is October 18th. Saturday, October 18th. There you go. It's Wisconsin and it's Ohio State. So anybody who wants to mark your calendar for Ohio State, there you go. You're done. You're good.
No one's marking it for Wisconsin the way they played this year.
No. It's been a long time since they marked it for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So, who the Dogs play this week?
They go to Auburn.
Oh, okay. They go over to the Plains.
That's the just as a little sneak preview. That one gives me a lot of pause and worry. So
It's funny how Auburn, if you talk to most of the fan bases and the coaches,
mhm.
year in year out, everybody will say, "Is there somebody who you are concerned about?" And it doesn't matter who's playing, it doesn't matter who's coaching. It's always Auburn,
Yeah,
and I'm not quite sure why, but
I'm not sure if you're like familiar, but there is a certain, and like plenty of coaches have talked about it, but there's like a certain kind of like juju that goes on at Auburn. Like when you take a trip to Jordan Hare,
mhm,
somebody, I think Nick Saban said that place is like haunted. That may have been how he described it. Like it's some weird stuff tends to happen on the plains, and I also think that Auburn may be making the change at quarterback. I
mhm,
feel like I remember reading something about it last week, but
mhm,
Deuce Knight, the freshman, I think that we will, at the worst case, see him in some design packages this week.
mhm. Well, it's I know a lot of people that just like you say, I've done games over there, and it's not. I mean, it's a very respectful crowd, actually, to be honest, by
Hmm.
SEC standards, um, and it's not particularly intimidating. But
Hmm.
if you've got, as you say, the juju going, who knows, right?
Yeah, like
It's crazy times.
yeah,
So it's not George. We don't have to worry about it being LSU or the swamp, but I guess the ghosts come up and bite you there
mhm.
in
It's
that
got
place.
some magic in it.
I had a similar experience for back in the 80s into the 90s over at Starkville when
Hmm.
you go to play Mississippi State. People would, those damn cowbells, Jesus.
Hmm.
I can still hear them ringing in my ears. But it did throw teams off, which is not to say they lost. It just threw them off. So
Yeah,
we'll see. And Lane Kiffin's brought his team up again into the top 10. So we'll see
yes,
how
yeah.
that Ole Miss team goes somewhere if they can get to the mountaintop this time. All right, gang. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Matt?
Not really. Monday Night Football is going to be interesting just because Jacksonville feels like a team like they have a chance to win this football game and really put themselves in good position
Mm-hmm.
to battle the Colts for that division because right now those are the two teams that are leading it, the Colts and the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
So and with the way the Colts look, they need to keep pace. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
winnable game against Kansas City for them.
They've Jacksonville's played better than expected, and
Mhm.
Kansas City has not. So
Yeah,
if I don't think Kansas City can afford to lose much more.
no, they cannot.
The division they're in, that win over the Chargers that Washington got yesterday was a bit of a surprise to even Washington fans. They thought going out there and playing SoFi would be tough, and it wasn't. So they came back the winner, and we'll have to see what. I don't think that losing that game is going to set well with Jim Harbaugh.
No, it should. They were in control of that football game,
Hmm.
and then they had some costly penalties.
They did, and they had some turnovers at the wrong time.
Hmm.
So not that there's ever a good time to do it, but they
No,
did.
yeah,
Anyway, all right, gang. Have a great day. For Matthew, I'm Jim, and we will see you tomorrow. Have lunch with us. I know that a lot of you guys watching on LinkedIn are doing that, and we greatly appreciate it. So, hit us up, hit the bell, please, hit the like sign, and by all means, subscribe. We want you to leave comments. We'll answer them. Just put them in the comment section below. Okay. All right, guys. Have a lovely day.